A big congratulations to Judit Polgar for getting inducted into the World Chess Hall of Fame. To celebrate, we're going to go through her Immortal Game. What is an Immortal Game? Well, it's typically supposed to be an ageless chess game, typically marked by brilliant sacrifices and just generally great chess. So let's see what Judit Polgar at age 18 cooked up against Grandmaster Alexei Shirov from Spain. We have e4, c5, Sicilian, nothing unusual. And then knight comes out, and we get like a French variation, and then it goes into a Taimanov. But not just any Taimanov, a Taimanov with g4 on the board. Okay, when we back up Sicilian, there's over 600,000 games in the chess.com database that has this opening, right? And that's the Masters database, not just, all the Papagos like you and me. This is the Masters database, has 600,000 games in this position. By the time you get g4 on the board in this variation, there's only 800 games left. So it's a sideline of a sideline of a sideline. a6, very common in Sicilians, and white decides to break the tension by moving the knight backwards. And now we see some more craziness because Judit is like, you want to play g4? You want to play g4? How about I play g5? What? What is the idea of gambiting this pawn? Well, just down a pawn. It's all good. The knight jumps forward. The queen goes back. Very natural moves. Okay. One more move with tempo. So notice like all of Judit's moves are coming with tempo right now. And then h5. Judit Polgar deserves one of these shirts. Like, if anyone knows Judit, I will gladly mail her one of these shirts for free. She gambits a second pawn. It's like, what is h5 supposed to do? Well, after g takes h5, it is a mistake. And why is it a mistake? Because Judit goes in with knight f5. Now that there's no g-pawn, because the g-pawn was the one that took the h-pawn, the knight can jump through to f5 and hit this bishop with tempo, because look, this pawn cannot take, you take that and you are losing your queen. So obviously, Grandmaster Alexei Shirov does not do that. Instead, he backs up the bishop to safety, but oh my gosh, like, what is this? Judit Polgar hits Shirov with queen takes g5. Okay, by the way, for anyone that's wondering, what happens if you take the queen? Well, you get forked in a very, very big way. So again, white doesn't do it. They're like, oh, whoa, let's do something different. Let's hit your bishop and try to finally break this pin. But now the knight jumps forward, and it's like, oh, I'm hitting your queen. Do you still want my queen? Because now if you take, I still fork you. But let's see. Queen moves out of the way instead. But now black's like, okay, I'm going to take you, and let's see what happens. Oh yeah, I still have a fork. Did you not know that? Like all the moves back ago, like, yeah, I was hitting your queen. And by the way, if you're wondering why can't the bishop just take, it's this is even better. If you allow the queen to get here, how do you get out of this, right? Well, knight takes bishop, rook c8, and this pawn's falling, and everyone's coming to the party. And if you're like, wait, why can't I just play rook c1 and like everything's defended? No, everything's not defended, because if you play that, knight d3 comes through. If you take, it's obviously catastrophic with like rook c1 takes, the knight's pinned, and that is mate. So that's generally why you don't take with the knight over here. It's not force mate or anything, but it's definitely very, very catastrophic for white. And so for that reason, that's why we get this queen trade. And now we get that giant fork, like I said. We finally get to see it on the board. And yes, Judit loses her bishop, but at the same time, she finds a resourceful b3 to save the knight. And now the knight is free to roam around. And if you look at it, thanks to that giant fork, Judit Polgar is up in exchange. And the rest of the game is just her having clean technique and a lot of moves, just safe moves to develop and make sure that she's good to go. And at this point, Shirov just said, look, I don't want any more of this pain. I'll just resign. At the age of 18, Judit Polgar destroyed Alexei Shirov and then went on to have an amazing career. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you go hit the subscribe button, because right now only 2% of you are subscribed. Let's get that accuracy to look something closer to what your average accuracy is in your chess games. Hope you enjoyed. Happy learning, everyone.